What's up, everybody? Another day of push and record and talking to y'all. And a lot of people chase wealth without clear targets. And I think there's some milestones that people need to be hitting, and they don't know that they're hitting them or that they're in them. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. The 4 milestones I believe that are your money milestones that everybody should be hitting. And I'm going to tell you where I'm at, and we'll talk about hopefully seeing where you're at. But essentially, I feel like there's 4 different numbers that people hit when they're on their way for growing wealth. And those numbers have become more clear to me as I've started growing my money and my wealth and taking a look at it. And I think to define those for you guys today is going to be super helpful. Now, the first milestone I think people need to hit is the $2,000 money milestone. This milestone is essentially for saving up a cushion so you don't have to panic. And $2,000 I think is enough to feel like if like a tire pops or you have to pay for something that something medical or something, hopefully it could help out, or just something happens. But having like a $2,000 savings cushion for an emergency fund is a good place to start. It's not $1,000, it's $2,000. And when it comes to these milestones, I think there's a psychological part to it. So you don't know that you've gotten to a new mind shift of psychology when it comes to your money until you're there. And that's why I'm very about making daily habits that stack up to bigger, significant changes in your life. So, for example, if you're able to save like $100 a month, by the end of the year, you'll have $1,200 saved up, and maybe you've already had a couple hundred. So saving up to that, it takes some time still. Maybe you do it more aggressively, but that's a huge part. You've put the time to let it stack up. You've been disciplined enough to put that money aside to stack up. So that's the first milestone. I believe the second milestone comes from, and sorry, it's a rainy day, that's why I'm doing it in my car. But, milestone number 2 is going to be the $10,000 range. I've made a whole video about this range, but, and I've made videos about the other ranges that are coming up as well. But, the $10,000 range is a range where if you're able to save up to $10,000, you've completely shifted your mindset of what you're doing, what your goals are, and what you're working towards. The crazy part about these milestones is that some people never even reach 1. And now here we are talking about milestone number 2 you should be hitting. So milestone 2, $10,000, that's 5 digits in your bank account or in your net worth that you can look at and be like, holy cow, I've stacked this money. And from there, I believe that there's not really anything that can pop up that at one time that can cost more than $10,000. Most things in life probably won't cost more than that in an emergency situation. So you're not panicking about anything. You've developed the discipline to save that much money, and this has really changed your spending habits and your budgeting. So it's a huge milestone. $10,000 ain't nothing to laugh at. But milestone number 3 is where you start getting to a whole different level, when you're starting to kind of get towards freedom. And freedom is really at the end of all these milestones. And that's kind of like one that continues to happen once you get past milestone number 4. But that's what we're going for, if it's freedom. So at milestone number 3 is going to be your $100,000. Now, why $100,000 is an important one is because you're probably at this point seeing where the power of compound interest is actually working for your money. So say maybe you've got $50,000 invested, you got now $50,000 in returns. So your money is working just as hard for that money as you have to get to that point. But here is where, like, when you start adding money to your savings or your investments or whatever it is, it starts really compounding, and time is now working on your side. So maybe this is like year 4 or year 5 of you working towards this. Now your money is going to be working harder for you than it ever has before. And it's really at this point where, like, even the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. But compound interest is your best friend at this milestone. And that's essentially where I'm at right now. I'm in this range, and this is my milestone. I'm in milestone 3. Haven't reached milestone 4 yet, but that's kind of where I'm getting to. Is now at milestone number 4, you're hitting the $1 million mark. $1 million invested, your money's probably working so much at this point you could start taking out maybe 4% of your investments every year, and it's not going to really affect the growth of the money you have sitting in there. And that's why getting to this milestone is so huge. And this is really where your freedom starts, is because you can start doing the numbers as far as like, so maybe it's 4% of $1 million is going to be $40,000. So if you're living off of, say, $60,000 maybe a year, or that's how much you need, you can start doing the math of knowing how much you need to have invested to be able to take this amount out every year to be living that. And that's why it's important to, along the way of growing your money, you're also living within your means and spending less on your lifestyle and not doing lifestyle creep along the way as you're making this money. If you're going down with your lifestyle while making this money, you're widening your gap, which means that you're going to be in a better place, and it doesn't take as much money to support the lifestyle that you've created. And that's where freedom is made. And that's why I'm making these videos every day. And it sounds like I'm talking about the same stuff, but these are all principles that is very nuanced. It can be simple, but it's nuanced, and there's levels to it. So you really got to start basic. And that's why starting with milestone number 1 is an important place to start. If you can't get to million if you don't get to milestone number 1. So budgeting, I just did my budget this weekend with my wife, talking about our future and our goals and our why. And we all should be doing this, treating our lives kind of like a business, our finances like a business, our health like a business, doing checks and balances, and looking at where we can grow and where things are not working and stuff. And knowing where you are with your money is so important to get to that financial freedom. I can't say it enough. Like, life gets easier for you as you're doing this all these milestones I'm talking about. And I'm a product of that. I know life can be awesome. And also life can still throw you hardballs, but it's a lot easier to be able to catch those when you're mentally prepared, when you're financially, set, and you're not worrying about one thing going wrong that's going to set you back financially. So you got to check out your milestones. You got to know where you're at. You should know your net worth and add up all your debts and your assets and see how you can grow this and really widen that gap a little bit, so you're not stuffing a bunch of stuff in there and making the gap smaller. Or is it the opposite? Regardless of it, you just want to be spending less and making more. That's the name of the game. That's how you're going to get to financial freedom. That's when you're hitting all these milestones, knowing that you're in there. Me being able to say, guys, I'm in milestone number 3 right now. So I'm on my way to 4. Hopefully motivates you, knowing that, like, I'm not just coming from a place of like, maybe you're thinking like, oh, well, it's easy for you to say you're in milestone number 3. Well, milestone number 3 is probably going to be for a while. And but I wouldn't have gotten here if I didn't actually make these moves to even get to milestone number 1. So I truly recommend you guys start focusing on that a little bit, and have the end goal in mind, but take these steps to getting yourself financially free. And that's pretty much all I got for this one today. If you made it this far in the video, you are awesome. You're the best. This is who I do it for, you. Leave me a comment. Let me know you made it this far in the video, or let me know, like, what milestone are you at? Have you ever considered these milestones? Is this something that can help you on your path to financial freedom? I'd love to discuss it in the comments. And yeah, let me know. My name is Sai. I'm an actor, creative director, and daily YouTuber. And I help creatives like yourself take what you love and turn it into something real and build a life that actually works. So if you found value in this video, and liked it, smash that thumbs up button, hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time I drop new content like this. I drop videos daily for you talking about all this type of stuff, so hit that up. Subscribe. It's free. It means the world to me. It does a lot for the channel. It does a lot for me. And you can always change your mind whenever you want. Hopefully you don't, but that's your option. But hit that subscribe button right now. And in the description is actually my free school community. It's essentially a free chat room. And what I'm trying to do in there is get to know you guys. If you guys are like loving this content, you're like, I would love to like someone to talk to, bounce things off of, like my investments, my YouTube, my life, creativity. That's what it's for. That's why I'm building this. So I'm looking for my 4th member to join in there and really take their life in their hands, and we can have an amazing next year and an amazing life. So check that out in the description. A lot of other resources there, like my favorite books that have changed the game for me. And if you like this video, you're gonna like this video right here and this video right here. YouTube's popping them up on your screen, suggesting you're gonna really like them, and I know you will. All right, guys, you're not behind. You're just getting started. So let's build this life on purpose. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.